game 1 it did get banned out for sure.
It was banned. It's been banned actually.
It was in the second round?
Game 2 that it was open.
Okay, game 2.
And Abbeddage didn't.
Yeah.
No, sorry, it was banned in every game. I'm trolling. It was banned every game this series.
Okay.
Yep, going to be left available, and it is grabbed here by Team Liquid. Jarvan going to be the trade back, and of course, Thieves know that, right? They know it was taken. They trade mid laners back. 14 career games played for Abbeddage on LeBlanc. 50% win rate, which is below his career average. Not a huge statistical sample, but just for what it's worth, that's what's going on with him. And of course, the Jarvan, who is undefeated in this series, gets locked in for closing.
I wonder if he just goes Volibear again, right? To try to scrap 2v2 mid. Ahri has also been, I think, probably Bjergsen's most impressive champion over the last couple weeks. He started to bring it out. He started to have these carry performances on it. Viego instead the pick. Santorin going to what Closer had been bringing out in the first couple of games. So very interesting. It's kind of total shift here away.
Yeah.
100 Thieves isn't just like full late game on their side. Of course, they could do like a third pick, you know, and go more for scaling. They have been wanting to secure that for FBI, so I wouldn't be shocked to see 100 Thieves third pick Aphelios or something like that again. But, you know, TL, we have to see what is their read. Do they want to try to go, you know, more towards scaling? Lucian set. So this could be top. This could also be bot. Because Bwipo is willing to play it. I'm going to be honest, I haven't really liked TL with the double marksman comps. I don't think that they're that good at closing out the games. They're often good at creating advantages, but it'll be interesting to see where they want to take us, because now on 100 Thieves side, you kind of have to wonder, it's like, all right, well, should we be banning out bot laner? Should we ban out like Nami as a pairing? You know, where do you want to focus? Aphelios feels like the obvious ones because they just put so much priority on FBI getting a scaling team fighter.
All right, well, team fight's going to look good. Obviously, LeBlanc a bit more early game skewed, Jarvan the same, but even if you are late game, Jarvan's flag still going to get some attack speed, which, you know, FBI's happy to get, of course. We'll see where it goes. 18 career games for Hansama on Lucian, which honestly for a pro AD carry feels a little bit low. He's been meta for so long, or, you know, in so many of these seasons, but Bwipo, of course, 2 Lucian games already this season. 0 for Hansama here, so we'll see what happens.
100 Thieves not really falling for that Lucian. They're saying it's going to be top lane.
Do you ban Nami though, right? Like, are you worried about that? Because that's the pairing. If it's going bot, it's going to be with a Nami. So it's interesting. And to TL ban Ornn, because if you're going to play this top, do you want to play Lucian into the Ornn and just into a scaling pick that has really good gank assist to actually kill you post level 6? So it's such an interesting pick ban now, because normally you would be saying, all right, well, you're going to ban engage supports here. But I don't know if that's going to be the case for both sides.
Yeah. Also interesting, they're leaving up Jinx, for example, as, you know, the, like, premier AD carry, basically. You get the Nami ban going through in case it is that one, but it's like, yeah, Xayah's your easy answer. You're trying to get away from a Jarvan gank or LeBlanc gank. You immune the EQ knockup, or you immune the sigils coming down. Yeah, and actually, I think if you go untargetable, you don't even get the terrain either from the ult, so Xayah has so many tools of getting away from a Jarvan that, they do flex the top to play that, but otherwise, like, yeah, but no one else matters that much for us.
So it's Lucian top. If you're banning Malphite, they're concerned about that. But I still think they can go Ornn. So maybe Bwipo's read is, I can slam Ornn, whether or not that comes down. I mean, you should get push, you should get a lane advantage, but again, post 6 with Spellbook, you swap over Ignite, you have kill threat on Marksman. And with Jarvan coming up there, it's going to be so threatening. So I just like 100 Thieves draft way more. Unless there's some sort of big pivot here that I'm not expecting for TL, I feel like TL are drafting themselves in the exact same situation that they were in game 3.
So I'm going to do a charitable thought on TL, which is they're baiting the Ornn pick here by banning Malphite. Like, oh no, we got to get rid of your tanks, grab one early.
Lucian bot with who, right? Like that's kind of my problem is, like, you try to go Lucian Karma or something, but all of the good bot lanes, I think it's going to be Ezreal Karma, and I think they're going to do basically like the same thing that they did last time, where they have no engage, and they have to stomp early, or you just auto lose.
Oh, actually,
Braum doesn't really change that, to be honest, because again, it's not engaged. It's like more of a late game thing.
It's better against Ornn in team fights if that's what they end up going for. But then the question will remain of whether or not they're actually stronger in 5v5, even with the Braum.
I mean, they can't start fights, right? So you have to win early. Is basically how I look at this. If you're playing Lucian top and you're playing no engage, you must win early. Braum does shut down the Ornn ulti, as you say. Thresh Aphelios, this is like throwback. This is like first weeks of spring where people were going Aphelios Thresh or Aphelios Jinx Thresh every single game pretty much. I really like the 100 Thieves draft. We'll see if it does get locked in, but I think the pick makes a lot of sense.
Oh, interesting.
Rakan, okay.
So I will say anyone who's pokier tends to look good in a Braum because his engage is so poor. It's like flash 2 or nothing. That anyone who has some range and some decent, and Thresh has some, to be fair, you can kind of like abuse a little bit because Braum can't really fight back easily. And yeah, he's there for the Ornn counter. I would say team fight for team fight, Ornn's still going to take longer than Braum will, so yeah, feels good for 100 Thieves.
And they have so much engage. Like, you can nullify the Ornn ulti, but Rakan's going in. J4 is going in. There is a lot of that.
Yeah, I think the one thing that could swing this over for TL is how good is Bjergsen's Ahri.
Yeah.
Because it has been banned the whole series. We've seen so many Ahri pop-off performances around the world in playoffs. The champ is super strong. TL also played a really good game around mid lane. They have the ability to get top prio. I think Ahri kind of has to take over this game to give them a big lead. Otherwise, I do think the 100 Thieves scaling and engage options will just be too much.
Yeah, I mean, TL can absolutely run over early game and stomp this game out, but that's going to be what it requires here.
All right, TL, do they end it 3-1, or does Bjergsen here for Team Liquid in Game 4? The man's got trophies, the man's got MVPs. He's first All-Pro this season while coaching last year. He's already back on top, and it looks like it's on him to close out this series in Game 4, because team fights are going to be rough without him.
Yeah, it's been really interesting following Bjergsen's path this split. When he came into lock-in tournament, he also talked about having COVID. He was also rusty from not playing pro for a while and ended up just kind of playing these scaling matchups, and it almost looked like he was getting carried. And then even though he was first team All-Pro, a lot of people were saying like, he's just on a winning team. Did he really deserve it? Is he just carried by his teammates? I think this series for glimpses though, we're starting to see him get back in form. More of those old school performances from 2016, 2017. He's been a part of the LCS for just so damn long. And I mean, this would be a game where he tries to really say that he's back.
And he's had so many of those over the years where, you know, you're looking at a draft or you're looking at a game state and you're saying, well, Bjergsen has to do it. And he has done it time and time and time again. You know, so many of the banners hanging in the LCS studio are courtesy of Bjergsen.
Yeah.
There we go. Award drops. A little bit of something going on, but now, yeah, TL going to go ahead and take a red buff steal, and Closer, he realizes, oh, shoot, okay, I'm going to be walking down to my first camp now. He will be set pretty far behind. Bwipo, of course, a great early game champion on Lucian. As Smite comes in, and Santorin gets a red steal.
And this is just smart. Set up the split map. You have to play somewhat towards the Lucian. Lucian is not a champion that you want to just sit back and go even against. So being able to push J4 to the bottom side of the map where you have Ezreal Braum, not someone you really want to gank. That lane is very tough to kill for J4. Protect the Lucian, set it up, really nicely done.
But he should be able to cross map because you're going to have pressure on the Aphelios Rakan, so he may get equal camps depending on how mid lane looks.
But again, then he's not on top side. It's more about protecting the Lucian, I think, than taking more camps away. I don't think that he's expecting to be able to defend his bottom side. I think that he's just trying to defend the Lucian, allow Bwipo to push, because Bwipo has to play aggressive in this 1v1 to create an edge.
Yeah, it's... the CS is not updating in the bottom right now, but it is 12-4 in the top lane, so definitely denying a lot of CS off of Ssumday. And this is the type of style that TL tried to play back in week 6. They basically took a whole week and said, we're just going to try and practice snowballing around topside. I feel like part of their practice during these 2 weeks between the last matchup they had was trying to snowball mid lane, which they were able to do with Bjergsen's LeBlanc game. So the totality of the practice and the things that you've learned throughout the split can be used during best-of-5 series like this, and it'll be interesting to see if this particular one pays off, because the top lane snowball hadn't looked that good.
Yeah, and I think it's a great point, and it is. Oh, nice charm. He's gonna pull in tower range.
Oh, that's a turret shot. Good 150 damage or so from the first shot there. Looks pretty nice.
If that second one went off there, he might have actually been able to kill him off. That was pretty close, but yeah, I mean, TL has been very flexible, and they have been trying out a lot of different stuff here. You know, throughout the regular season, Bwipo, you were talking about it, Phreak, with his 19-odd, 18-odd, unique picks. Santorin, though, going over towards mid.
Will they get a charm flash?
Covering here.
Gets out in time, but yeah, with W down, theoretically you'd have that play, but it's not going to come through. Going to take the top scuttle instead. Midlaner's just trading blows back and forth. Now Abbeddage has a chance to keep the wave in front of his tower. He's going to play it out. Looks like he's going to just go ahead and mostly last hit under turret itself. Bjergsen is coming in to grab an early blue.
3.5 minute blue buff for Bjergsen.
Okay.
Give the experience to your jungler, I hope.
Yeah. Would be nice to get 6 on Viego. It's actually pretty valuable.
He's actually going to cancel the recall, so he's just going to go back mid. He has one minion dematerializer left, so he's actually staying for the cannon wave because he can insta-kill the cannon and get a shove here, so he gets an even better recall. Abbeddage is not playing TP, so he had to reset. Will lose a couple minions there, but won't be too bad for Abbeddage because it's a cannon wave pushing in, so they can tank up like 8 tower shots, I believe it is.
Nice knock up there. They should know that Viego's around, though. He gets the knock up and a damage, and Ssumday is a flash away from dead. Q's come across. They knock him down. Well played.
That was such a bait by TL. Bwipo had Viego behind him, so he's, I'm a little bit too close to the pillar here. You might want to knock me up. Ssumday liked his odds there, but getting that first blood when you're already down farm is so big. This is exactly what TL needed to do.
But I think he should have known, because I think Santorin hit a Scryers, but it's why the ward was killed. I don't think there's any other way for that ward to die except Santorin hitting a Scryers, so we should have known Viego was topside.
Yeah.
He took a fight and got punished.
It's a top lane bet. Santorin had shown mid. He'd stuck around for a long time. It is actually a huge overstay what Santorin just did, how late he took his first recall, but it absolutely pays off. It's a lost bet by Ssumday, and it's exactly the type of start you want if you're TL and trying to play through the solution. Look at what he's able to do. He started call. He now has his Noon Quiver. Didn't even have to burn flash to get that kill.
Yep, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I think he may have had that knowledge. We're not far enough back in the replay to actually see what all his vision was. But of course, at this point, he does see Santorin coming in, not able to flash the W. I think that would have been his only hope to actually surviving, is if he could have flashed that stun there from the Viego. But a really nice setup from TL. They get the kill. First buy is huge for Bwipo, but he's got to keep the pressure on, because you need to continually extend the advantage. You need to be able to threaten farming plates against this Ornn, because you've got to play from ahead. Because if it just starts to go to parity and Ornn gets up to a Frozen Heart, gets up to that Mythic, you're just chilling and farming, and you just wait for your jungler to come up and ult the Lucian every single time.
Yeah, it's once again triple AD, right? Ahri does not want to punch through front line. Like, she's going to go... I mean, Ahri's not going to
go ever across CDR boots. Like, she's not gonna be that one-shot threat or even the sustained damage threat to the Ornn.
Yep, and you can see there's the Frozen Heart components, right? It's like, yep, great. I have an attack speed slow against 3 auto attackers. That seems good. I'm stacking armor against triple AD. That seems good. Let's get it. And that's going to look pretty good. So as long as, you're not running over the game, which is, as you've both been talking about, the early game definitely matters for this top side. Closer, though, able to, with his bot lane pressure, this Rakan is good into Braum, because he can't stop any of your poke, anything else. They get control. 625 on the first Drake. Looks good.
Oh, that's
Ignite.
He's got flash, and he flashes the knockup. Really, really well played. Culling does not hit a ton. Goes back in for a bit more damage. Just a bit of poke. And Ssumday will get worn down a little bit, but blocks a lot.
But this does mean, now again, he didn't expend the Ignite, so it means that there's an opportunity to try to go for a kill as soon as your ulti is back up, but Santorin is wrapped around.
New class armor.
Great, and Bjergsen's moving.
A lot of damage is going to be enough, though, and they see, actually, I don't know if he the damage.
Healthy, though.
Yeah, he's actually 70%, so the wave's going to go down. Not going to be a problem. Gets a plate for it, and decides ultimately Ssumday's got too much.
It is just so hard to do damage to a Warden's male Ornn.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we saw there. That was a full combo from Bwipo. He used his ultimate, he expended his flash, and with a couple refillable potion charges, Ssumday's at 80% under his turret, actually means that Santorin has to just path up there for a waste of about 20 seconds, and not much happens.
And in about a minute here, when somebody has his ulti back up, if Closer can get up there, I think that's pretty much a guaranteed kill on Bwipo. He's flashless. You'll have ult and ignite if you can hold on to those. That is something you really want to punish. You want to put down this Lucian, especially now that he's expended his teleport. That would be a very valuable kill for 100 Thieves if they can get up there and get it.
Well, he's pushed down yet again. We're going to be at about 77 CS with, to 68, really. It's a good wave and a half lead here. So a really well done 100 Thieves, definitely winning in the bottom lane with the better scaling pick overall. You can see Bwipo, yes, he's the richest man because of the first blood, but FBI's right behind him.
And in terms of mid lane, it's nothing really to write home about. It's not been any type of early huge advantage for Bjergsen. In fact, I think Abbeddage has kind of had the upper hand. He had mid prio while 100 Thieves took that Drake. Only now, with Bjergsen sticking around, having expended his teleport, are they trying to make this move before Rift Herald.
And the bot lane is here from 100 Thieves, so we'll see if they want to try to contest. I think they may be just too late to actually stop this. I think it's gone.
Yeah, I think so.
They did try to...
Better smite, It says every time. Every time it says, and he gets it smite, and he gets to pick the team fight now. Here we go, Santorin drop low, judges him toward the wall with the flash, but they got the chase down, and Ignite kills him, and there's no way out. There is no flash, there is no life. Bwipo will fall, and 100 Thieves take that battle. Incredibly well done.
That was a really good call out, Phreak. The upgraded smite was there for Closer. It was not for Santorin. So that's the 900 versus the 450.
It's free.
You win that every time, as you said. He goes in, he gets it. They get Herald, they get 2 kills. Bwipo just died. Now that you can farm the plates from this Lucian who has no TP, they could even potentially get a full tower topside if they wanted to actually commit to Herald. But don't think they're going to drop it just yet. But that is such a big deal for 100 Thieves. They pull the gold right back to even, and they're going to go ahead once they drop the Herald. So TL in bad positioning already here.
And Hans is kind of on his own.
Flash exhaust, Herald summon. They're going to go for the cooldown just in case. They're going to burst him. There's the knockup. There's the kill. As it is going to be a trade, though. One too many turret shots. Huhi burns every cooldown, still dies, but they get a lot of turret damage for it.
Well, Operation Smash the early game has been a failure for Team Liquid. Definitely looking like 100 Thieves has surpassed that early game. Again, they have Ssumday's Ornn in such a powerful position, able to stack armor early against an AD-heavy team.
50,
after that turret gold, that's all you need.
Yeah, like if you're even close to even, you're winning this matchup, right? You just have so much more baseline value, and this is why I've kind of had these concerns, you know, with some of these drafts from TL where they like to go for this 5th card marksman. I think it really kind of derails what their composition does. But Closer goes in, has the 900 smite. On the other side, TL are trying to go for a fight, but again, where's your engage, right? You don't have anything. The only chance is Viego going in, Braum going in. So Viego goes in with the ulti, but they just kite back and they burst him down. They don't have the CC to lock anyone down on 100 Thieves' side. So 100 Thieves are dictating when and where you're going to fight.
And it's also really slim margins there, right? It's the one smite charge that makes the difference. The fact that Hans Sama was about 10 seconds slow made 100 Thieves confident enough to at least engage in the area so that they could fight.
You know, it's so interesting because we talked about that earlier delayed recall to actually make that gank happen on Ssumday, and I wonder if that is the difference maker. The fact that he is actually, you know, out on the map a little bit too long, if his smite charges stacked up, and as a result is down on that upgraded smite. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if that really was that difference maker, and sometimes these little things can mean a lot.
It also could come down to rune choice as well. We know both players have an inspiration. Right, they're both an inspiration somewhere, so if only one of them took the smite charge, or the summoner spell haste, that's obviously relevant. I want to point out the first strike on the Jarvan, by the way, which is pretty neat. But overall, Camp's just going down, and we sit on a 500 gold lead with First Dragon, with Herald already crashed 400 Thieves.
Viego does have it, so he has the
They both have Cosmic Insight.
So it really is just that delayed recall, I think, up on top side to make that gank happen. So hadn't cycled through the smites as quickly. They are pushing back here, of course, though, getting some tower damage down. On the bot side, though, FBI is also doing the same. Down to 2 plates remaining down there.
Have come through, and now we get to look at the next attempt because mid lane has been crushed, and if Thieves can walk down to that dragon, no problem. FBI gonna just absolutely destroy this turret. This one's gonna die. That'll be second turret of the game, almost certainly, as well as a just boatload of plates. 5 in top, 5 in bot. Thank you very much, 100 Thieves.
And 2 dragons.
Yeah.
Like this one is looking so good for 100 Thieves. You have scaling advantage, you have objective advantage, you have everything going your way here. And if TL drops this game, you know, you talk about the mental edge, you talk about momentum in a series, it is so far in 100 Thieves' favor.
Adaptation, momentum, experience, all these things come in. After the first 2 games, it looked so heavily in the favor of Team Liquid. You think about the way Game 1 was in the series, 22-minute Team Liquid victory. 0 plates taken by 100 Thieves the entire time. In Game 2, TL had this 8,000 gold lead in the mid-game before really a blip, which was a throw where they were immediately able to come back. But Game 3 and Game 4, 100 Thieves has taken this Ornn in the top lane, this Jarvan in the jungle, having this very strong front-to-back identity, but then also being able to win the early game. That's the remarkable thing about these 2 games, where they just haven't given Team Liquid the opportunity to snowball. And again, a lot can still happen in this game. It's a 200 gold, 2-dragon lead.
Nope, Jatt, game 5.
But the 2-2 is looking pretty good.
And when you think in composition, that's the thing that makes you nervous, right? Because we came into this saying that they have to create an early advantage. TL not out of it by any means in this game. But, you know, if you could choose a game state, you'd much rather be on that other side. Bwipo now, potentially here in trouble.
Yeah, really low in mana. Here's the burst, and he's going to take the kill. A quick slow from Ornn for the assist credit, and just gets deleted. Bwipo, I mean, last game looked pretty bad on the Graves. Picks up the marksman, still looking pretty bad here. This is a rough look now. Getting slimmer and slimmer as the time goes on. CoreJJ going to flash a safety. Get a bit of poke, doesn't matter.
They're just losing control of their jungle, right? They don't have much, you know, kind of defensive vision. A lot of it is getting swept out. Pink wards are being put in their jungle. They take down this bottom tower, and no real answer on the other side of the map here as they kind of roam down to try to answer the play. Bjergsen is here. Everyone is down to that bot side. They've got to keep the Lucian pressing, but you know, his time in the game, winning in that side lane is kind of already over.
Yeah, and you know how in between games we see all these like snacks that all the teams have, and like what did Abbeddage eat in between like game 2 and these last 2? Because he was awful in game 1 and 2, and he's been quite good in these games 3 and 4. I mean, Bjergsen power picked the Ahri, perma-banned this entire series, but he's matching it with LeBlanc. He is even, if not slightly ahead for most of the laning phase, and now is sitting at 2-0 against a ton of squishy targets. So the game is his for the taking.
And it feels like the Jarvan is just, you know, going to continue rising in priority because Closer's having another strong game on it. You know, been very, very effective every time this has come out, whether it was 4TL or 400 Thieves.
And now we look at the chance that A mid lane play. Core and Bwipo going to be spotted by the sweeper over the wall, so they know what's going on here. Ward's going to go down, put new ones in, and oh, they're going to go for the play right now. CoreJJ, flashless, could be an easy kill, puts the ulti up, puts the shield up, and be careful. Huhi could burn down. Ahri's going to find one. And overstep by 100 Thieves support, and maybe another. Closer versus stopwatch, pretty crucial there. Takes someone to heal now, and the re-engage looks good. Big damage on Ezreal, but will stay alive. Low health parts, but no more kills just by the slip of margins. Just the 1 for 0. Make it back. Abbeddage says, I'll get one for ya.
All that just for a 1-for-1. It looked like so many things missed or went wrong for 100 Thieves, but TL just gets that 1 kill for Bjergsen's Ahri, but it's now a 3-0 Luden's completed LeBlanc they're up against.
And they might be able to get the Herald here, so pretty nice for TL. 100 Thieves really diving deep for CoreJJ there. It's a Braum, you know, the tankiest member, the hardest one to take out. And he's trying to dive through Lucian's culling. Bwipo just absolutely ripped up Huhi. You know, they get that first kill off the back with Bjergsen being able to clean that up. They are able to grab a Herald for themselves, so a nice little win for TL, pulling this game back somewhat.
We'll try to work their way back into this one. 1,000 though the goal difference, still 2 dunks to nothing. Watch that again, and yeah, Huhi stays in a bit too long.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of an overforce here. Closer flashes, does just get CoreJJ, who's going to take a while to kill. Braum with the shield up is just a very tanky person, gets his Guardian, and yeah, you can see Huhi just gets completely burned down. But let's watch what happens after this, because there are some opportunities. They missed a lot of damage on a Closer after that charm, and he barely gets away.
Yeah, I think they were really nervous about overextending, you know, through Ssumday. You know, Ssumday getting a multi-man knockup, and FBI kind of guarding there. You know, playing bodyguard in that corridor can be tough. But Abbeddage going over the wall, getting the kill. He's got the Ludens, he's got the tier 2 boots. You know, him and Bjergsen are pretty much at parity, you know, despite the extra kills and farm going Abbedage's way. And a lot of pressure, I think, on Bjergsen's shoulders now to try to make plays happen because they don't have engage. They need to find some sort of an X factor here, but it's very tough to get anything done in sides when you have no vision and you look at the map, it is so dark. You know, there's just not really anywhere you can safely push, so they're kind of forced to just group up to avoid the hard engage that their opponents have.
Yeah, how are they supposed to get in for this dragon? They need Hans Sama to land so many Ezreal Qs, or they need to get just a blind charm on a squishy. Yes, they have the Herald to maybe get them pushed, but as we mentioned before, like actually engaging the fight so difficult.
Look at Abbedage's positioning. If Bwipo walks in there, he could get roasted.
Yeah, this is such a power spike for LeBlanc right now. Luden, Sorks, and level 11.
Spots it out, knows what's going on, gets out, and blue trinket, but that does mean Vision goes to TL. They, in fact, got that push because of Herald.
But if they start this, they need a plan to peel off if 100 Thieves decides to go for this fight.
Closer walks up, CoreJJ tags him, Bjergsen waiting around, pretty far away. He's playing mid lane first. He's actually going to shove that in and give him a way out. They're going to back up and say, okay, you've come down, you got through the choke, but they won't stay for the turret. They're going to stay around for the team fight. Is it going to be enough? They don't want to give away Dragon number 3. 1K gold difference, decent damage out of Abba. Back out again, will it flip for the Dragon? Getting down to 1,300. Smite comes in, 30 health I saw, but Closer claims it in the end.
I mean, even getting the Smite flip is actually a win for Team Liquid, but since they don't get it, it ends up being all for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, they take down mid-tier 1, that's something, but it is Soul Point here very early into the game. You know, 23 minutes Soul on the table, 400 Thieves. It's getting tougher and tougher here for TL, but they just don't have the ability to start the fight. So it requires, you know, not only that a massive amount of poke, but almost a misstep. Because even though Ssumday was chunked down to like 40%, what are you going to do about it, right? You can't just run at him with your marksman and try to run through Rakan and everyone. And he's still going to have that ultimate available. So it's very difficult to even have the follow-up. So it feels like you need to deny vision. You need to have Bjergsen playing from fog, try to catch someone checking. But they have multiple tanks to be the ones that are kind of leading the way here.
Abbeddage gets to play pretty aggressively. He's got no wards in that western jungle. To be fair, neither does TL, but he's got reinforcements nearby enough. And even though that doesn't spot anyone, I don't think Close is going to be much danger. Can always EQ out. There's no follow-through. Yeah, I mean, whew, we padded the stats. Best thing Core's done in the last 2 minutes.
I was wondering where you're going to go.
Not all game. He's gotten some good engagements.
Be careful with this one.
Just the last 2 minutes. You know, that's fine.
So it is still only 19 minutes into this game. It feels much later because 100 Thieves was able to start the Dragon stacking very early, but we don't even have ornaments yet. So really, I think the next 5 minutes is where Team Liquid still has a chance to win this game. Since we saw they did get a lot of chunk down onto Ssumday, they do still have damage if they're able to get a good calling out. When the Manamune transforms for Hansama, I think that's going to be a significant enough power spike that they can look for something. If they get a big team fight win and turn it into Baron, that's their window into still winning this game.
And they can find that, but it requires 100 Thieves to be the ones engaging into them and them to be kiting back and focusing down the people that engage, right? You do have a ton of DPS here. You know, if Ornn overextends or J4 overextends and you have both your marksmen hitting them and they get charmed and they get burst down and you get the Viego soul for the reset, you know, that fight can go your way. But if 100 Thieves makes you come to them, it's so tough to really get much done because Lucian then can pretty much only play with culling and it becomes down to Ezreal to really get the poke. You cannot walk up and just start auto-attacking these guys unless they have already spent their spells to engage into you.
We'll look for the next play, though, because right now it's Abbeddage going to the top side, and, you know, getting those individual picks would help get TL some gold back, get them, you know, maybe the ability to put the wards down and find the next one afterwards, because, hey, then the next charm comes from Fog of War, and, you know, the setup's going to be too hard, but right now they're not finding any plays just yet.
I like the BT here, second from FBI. I think he's realizing poke is really the only threat. And with the BT, and even if you get tagged a couple times there, you're not going to be in much threat as long as you have access to a minion wave. And it's going to make the 100-0 that much harder as well.
And also just kind of zooming out a bit as we wait for this last dragon or this Cloud Soul possibly to be set up. The rivalry is strong with Team Liquid and 100 Thieves, right? The last time they played in the winners bracket final, actually, people remember the 3-0 final by 100 Thieves at the end of 2021, but the winners bracket final match went to 5. So there's a lot of competition between these two guys. FBI tries to go for a play.
And it's going to be the ulti on top as well, but not enough to kill. No one else quite in range for the rest of it. Hansama just burns the Arcane Shift out.
And even last year, you know, when they were going into that summer finals, there was so much talk, you know, from the 100 Thieves camp of thinking back and wanting revenge for the first time they made finals. When they first came in a league after franchising, they made finals and they immediately got stomped by TL. And they had been wanting their revenge for years to be able to get it. It just feels like such a budding rivalry.
Really good damage. 100 health left in flashes in case Bwipo's going to be in range for something. So just running away, but TL is on the way up. He's going to be enough. Hansama now finally burns the flash get away. Ult's not going to land. How about Abbeddage? Can he stay safe? Because Santorin's here. Jumps to juke one, but the flash follows in. That's what he needed. And now they can use LeBlanc against him. The dunk is big damage. Bwipo kills him. 2-0, and TL gets signs of life.
That's the spike they were waiting for, but it all started with Bjergsen actually making a huge play onto Abbeddage, and I don't even know if 100 Thieves is going to be in position to contest this or his bot lane.
They're maximizing gold. They're maximizing gold income, saying Baron is yours, probably Dragon's yours as well. We'll get as much as we can. Respect the call to get what you can on the weak side of the map. TL will always get more for the 2 kills, the Baron and the reset, but at least 100 Thieves get something.
I mean, TL's gonna rush back to base and then try and go out for that dragon because Cloud Soul is up as they run out. But watch this one more time. Just perfect placement, leading with the Everfrost and then getting all of his damage through.
Yep, being able to connect with the Everfrost there, guaranteeing the charm, and then dashing back out to not get collapsed on by closer. They're buying themselves time. Hansama also avoiding the engage on the bottom of your screen there. He survives. Viego just catches up, gets that kill, and as soon as he has the soul, there's no way out of this. Everyone is collapsing. They're able to get down and even prevent soul from being grabbed. What a turn there.
Yeah.
Off the initial play from Bjergsen, TL. Signs of life here in game number 4.
And I actually do really like 100 Thieves' choices after the disaster that was top lane. Instead of trying to 3v5 contest the Baron, possibly give away FBIs and Ssumday's bounties, they maximize gold, as Phreak said. But then even for this Cloud Soul, it's 23 minutes into the game. Why fight a team that just got Baron where they can just give it and still scale for later? They're going to wait for their Ornn items to come in. They'll probably wait for FBI to get either a GR or Infinity Edge and just kind of withstand the mistake they just made.
Yeah, I agree completely. You know, you take tier 2 mid, you just negate loss and just prepare for the later stages because their scaling is still fully in effect. Yes, this gives TL a shot, but they're still in a pretty good position. Closer are going to have to be careful here, though. And we'll see if TL can find some way to force. You know, 100 Thieves just have to wave clear, respect the potential damage that can come out, but there's not really much engaged still from the TL side, so they have to be methodical. They have to get answers elsewhere and then group up, push in, knock down towers.
It's almost this weird thing. They need to play disrespectfully enough to make 100 Thieves want to fight them.
Yeah.
And they did get a good chunk of damage down before they were able to get that turret, but it's just the 2,000 gold lead. I think they need to be able to get more. Maybe the outer turret in the top lane as well to make this Baron really worth it.
You see what comes through. Abbeddage able to pretty much safely clear this one. They know everyone was seeing bot side not too long ago, so that one's a pretty safe clear. But yeah, we've got 50 seconds left on the Red Bull Baron power play, and TL, how much more can they get? Because it will time out well before the 5th Dragon of the game, and that means they've got to fight just with the gold lead, not with the Baron buff, when they want to stop the Cloud Soul.
And a lot of items coming through, on both sides here. The completions are coming through, some pretty important ones. GA now done for Santorin. That is big. The Zonias has been finished up for Closer. And FBI does have a stopwatch, but is really going to want to try to complete his IE prior to this next fight. If he can get the IE, that is so big, but he's still pretty far away here. Going to need another 1,000 gold at least to complete that item.
I actually think FBI might go GA third. I've seen him, of all the Aphelios I've seen, he delays IE more than almost anyone else. Sometimes he'll even do Lord Dominic's GA and then IE is his very last item. And in this particular game, because the opponent team is actually so squishy, he's just saying, I cannot die. I have tanks all around me. I have a mobile mid laner. If I die, the fight is over. So I think he's just going to go GA.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. I mean, I can definitely see the thought process, of, hey, the only way they could kill me, the only way we could lose is if they insta-kill me and they can't kill me again, right?
Yep.
Basically, if you think it would have to take everything from them to get you one time, GA can make a lot of sense, but scrapping here over the Raptors, just trying to fight for vision. Again, as you said, Jatt, TL are kind of trying to push forward to bait 100 Thieves into them and then try to win to the fight, as they're kiting back. Because they can't really get those picks.
The 100 Thieves are playing pretty far back, right? They don't fight for Raptors. They didn't have to, that's fine, but you can see
they just want to go for Soul.
Abbeddage is like, okay, top's in the turret. Okay, it's on the turret. Okay, I'll go for the wave now. Okay, we're not going to get it. Okay, I'll get the wave. And they are playing very much on the back foot, and yeah, they do scale. And in fact, they can give the next Dragon on a half and, just wait for more items to come through. And I think that's defensible as an option. And I'm curious, how they really feel about this one. Like, do they really AFK, wait, maybe play against Baron 2 because the setup might come through, or will they just scrap for this?
I think at a certain point you're being too cautious, if you're not willing to fight, because I do think that their comp is built for 5v5. If your item completions come through, I think they should be down to scrap at this next fight, try to play for Soul, because you're giving opportunities for plays from the other side. TL are the ones, I think, who are kind of pressing.
Spot on award.
I do think the mindset is something that's difficult to change, though. So 100 Thieves was winning so hard earlier on in this game, got caught out, gave up Baron, and then the call was, okay, let's just play conservatively. But in order to win this game, they do need to have a good trigger pull. They need to flip into an aggressive mindset. It is actually IE instead of Guardian Angel for FBI. But with how passive they have been playing to not lose the game, they need to make that mindset switch to get back into an aggressive mode and have Ssumday lead with ultimate, have Huhi looking for flanks. If they don't do that, I think they could actually let Team Liquid back into the game. And since it's an elimination game for the series, it would be the end of the series.
Definitely make you hesitant.
Chooses not to play for the top lane turret. He could have stayed there and attacked it and played for TP. Instead, he's playing for the early flank. 20 seconds till the Dragon comes up. Again, could have played for the turret if he wanted to. Wants to play to be there in time for the fight instead. Knows Dragon Soul is important.
Such a good spot.
Here's our first Ornn upgrade to a teammate. Should be going to FBI. Almost certainly could be Abba. But regardless, there's last TP in. Bwipo has come in with his last upgrade. He's on 3 items now too.
And I mean, at this point, at TL, you're buying pots. You're doing everything you can to be as strong as you can for this fight, because this fight is very likely.
They're going to have to give up the soul. There's
they just see no way in.
Yeah, and against Ornn, Rakan, and they were thinking they were just going to get ace there.
Yeah, I mean, FBI just got his Ornn upgrade and complete his IE. That's about as big of a power spike as you can get. So they will trade it for a little bit of gold, but Soul now over on the other side. That just makes Huhi's engages that much more deadly, because Rakan with the Cloud Soul, you engage so fast. It is very, very difficult. The 10% flat move speed is good for everyone, but the active on ulti is unreal for Rakan.
Taking a risk there. Abbeddage over the wall. Says, yep, no problem. We'll get rid of your wards and start taking the map back over. So the rotations back and forth, obviously a lot faster. The mobility in team fights pretty great as well.
They have double smite. They can actually just start Baron and force TL to come to them and look for the turn, because they have spellbooked over to smite here from Ssumday. I think they have a good start. Yeah, just get on it, make them come to you. You have the tools to turn for an engage. That's exactly what they should look for. And if TL are slow, you just secure it.
Good pull! 200 health left.
Huhi's
and that's big. Huhi, does he want the engage? But I think you'd see the Ornn first. Now that's Core's E down though, so now he can't stop the Ornn engage, and that means they gotta pull all the way out. Well done, 100 Thieves. They stacked up in time to play for Dragon. They stacked up and dared the engage. Great poke by the mid laner, and this means we are careening toward game 5.
There's just no way in for TL in that positioning. You have to be first to an objective as this composition to really be able to contest it. They try to walk through, and Abbeddage just says no.
It is a really interesting scoreboard to look at, though.
Yeah, 5-5.
5-5. Gold lead on the blue side, but
Doesn't
Soul
matter.
and Baron for 100 Thieves. It just doesn't feel like it matters. The window for Team Liquid has still got to be Hans Sama, though. He's got a 450 gold bounty. He's actually sitting on 2,500 inventory gold, so he's going to be a 4th item complete, which would put him slightly ahead of the curve of other players in this game. He would just have to have some type of ridiculously strong fight where he doesn't get hit by anything for them to have a chance.
It's just so hard because I'm trying to think about it. It's like, how do you win the team fight, right? And it's him hitting the carries, but how do you hit the carries without getting CC'd by Jarvan and Ornn and Rakan?
You hit 35 Qs on Ornn first.
And then he's at 90% and you have to hit the rest.
Yeah, he's on the way to Randuin's now. I wouldn't even hit a Warmog, just make sure he's always full health for these.
Yeah.
But regardless, doesn't really matter. He's doing pretty well for himself. Actually, I guess Thornmail builds around that now, so it might just be an upgraded Thornmail. Either way, yeah, gonna be on 4 big tank items, all of them giving armor. It's gonna feel really nice. And now we see what's next for Thieves. They shove in mid and now push down to the bottom side. Bot tier 2, the arguably easiest one to grab. There's no wave for top lane. He wants to be on the chance at an engage.
And you can see TL knows it might just be one more fight, right? Stopwatch on Bwipo, stopwatch and a potion in inventory here for Santorin. They know how important these next minutes are, trying to slow down this push, trying to find some sort of a way in. It's got to be a charm or something, but 100 Thieves just checking all the boxes, pushing them back with the Ornn ulti. The tower is gone. That means an Ib is gone.
Yep. Her shield was down. They put the damage in Abbeddage. Nice spit there. True shot. Not bad. Hits 4. Big poke, but is there going to be a real team fight there? It's the engage in for Ssumday. Isn't enough, though. They're going to walk back. Health bar's low. Teal don't have a backline anymore. Huhi going to stopwatch get out. There's the flash engage, and here comes the slaughter. I can hear the sound of Team Liquid falling in 100 Thieves triumphant here in Game 4. The sound of silver scrapes on the horizon as CoreJJ watches the shambles of his teammates, the corpses on the floor, and 100 Thieves take what is not given. They take Game 3, they take Game 4, they take us to Game 5, and they're gonna take down the base. We're gonna see it fall. Get ready, because Game 5 is coming.
Momentum now strongly in the favor of 100 Thieves. Back-to-back wins with the back against the wall. And now it's all going to come down to that final game.
2 really dominant wins. It's 2 dominant wins that kick it off for TL. Now 2 dominant wins, 400 Thieves. But I have got to say, man, TL have got to get away from these no-engage comps. They just don't work for them. It didn't work for them in the regular season. It's not working for them here. And now it is that series point. You have just dropped your 2-0 lead. Back-to-back games going towards these double marksman comps with no engage. It's too hard to execute. 100 Thieves are not making the mistakes that were required. Somebody has been way too solid in top lane to really justify the picks, I think.
Yeah, and we were talking before the series happened about how many sweeps we've actually been seeing and how that was due to teams not necessarily making adjustments or adapting. 100 Thieves made great adjustments after losing 2 games in a row. And now TL are the team that needs to make big adjustments to avoid the reverse sweep.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see if they find the engage. I think the Jarvan in the hands of Close. I think the champ is 4-0 in the series, by the way. Like, he has just done so much. The early games have worked out. There's been an angle to find that gank, and it's turned the games over.
I don't think it's that complex what TL have to do. I think TL can literally just draft the way that 100 Thieves are drafting and go to 5v5.
Yeah.
How good was Hans Sama in the first 2 games when you gave him team fights on even keel, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, that is such an obvious answer that you have this guy that was being a monster in 5v5, match them, try to 5v5 against them, and make 100 Thieves be better than you at that, right? 100 Thieves is obviously an incredible team fight team, but the scale has been tipped very heavily in their favor with the compositions last 2 games.
Exactly, because Team Liquid is also an incredible team fight team. It's how they won the majority of their games in their regular season. I think sometimes you can be too creative or too into trying to counter your opponent that you end up countering yourself. And there's a little bit of that I think that happened to both teams this series. I think it happened to 100 Thieves in the first 2, and it's happened to Team Liquid in 3 and 4. So, like, when all things considered, it's about team fighting.
Right.
So we might see a big 5v5 brawl in Game 5.
We've got Orianna Azir coming in Game 5, and I want to say this for my piece, like, it doesn't have to be CoreJJ. I think he's great at Leon, he's great at Nautilus. I think that's a totally way to do it. But also, when you're fist picking Graves and like leaving Lucian in top lane for 5, that needs to not be Braum or Soraka. Like, that needs to be Malphite or Gragas up there. Braum Lucian's a good lane.
Yeah.
Just like, put him down there, grab the Malphite, grab the Gragas. You can let Bwipo do it, that's fine. But yeah, do you want to see someone with the ability to start the fights? We'll see if it comes through. And we're going to head back down to the stage and break down that game at the State Farm Analyst Desk.